Okay, I think I'm live. So, good evening, the 𝒘𝒏𝒊𝒊𝒄𝒵 crowd. I'm really delighted to be here with you. Before I actually get started with my talk, I had something I had to say. So, in preparation for doing this call, I thought I'd better go and have a look at what some of the other people have done in advance of me, just to get an idea of what's going on. And I have to say that the resource there is absolutely amazing. The information there, the content is absolutely priceless. I looked at 2 or 3 of those videos, and there are a few themes in common in the ones that I looked at, and it just got me thinking, all these experts cannot be wrong about some of the messages that that are being told to you all here. So what you must do, this is what I'm going to beg of you to do in terms of call to action, is to go and look at those videos. Not right now, because I'm about to do mine, but afterwards, just go and have a look and take a look, because the information is amazing. You can maybe do, I don't know, one a week, one a month, set yourself a reminder, but go and take a look at the other videos in the units in this 𝒘𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒵 group, because that information is really, really valuable, and it's all spot on and clever stuff. Now, the reason I'm imploring you to do this is because this is how you can really make a difference. When you immerse yourself in this kind of information, even when it seems like, oh, I can't do that, that seems too much like hard work, it's a really good idea, but I don't know I can do it. When you start immersing yourself and hearing it again and again and again, and the messages get repeated, then it all starts to sink in without you even having to put any effort in. And that is how you can make the difference to the way you think, and then that will change your action. So all of a sudden you'll find yourself doing some of this stuff without it being an effort. So after this video is finished, make a plan to go and look at some of the other units and the videos in this, because like I say, I've seen a couple of them and they were great, including the one yesterday from Helen, which was absolutely fantastic and is a little bit connected to some of the stuff I'm going to talk about. Okay, that was just to kick us off. Let's really get started now. So you've already read about my background, and there's a bit in the notes on this post. So I'm not going to go through any of that again. If you do have any questions about me, then you can put them in the comments, and I will go ahead and answer them as soon as I see them. If you're watching this live, or if you on the catch up, then doesn't matter. I'll always go back and check. I'll get a notification if there are any questions or comments. So please hit the thumbs up, hit the like, put in a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Any kind of comments at all will help me to get some feedback and help other people to find this as well. So go ahead and do that at any point, even at multiple points during the video. Okay, deep breath. Let's talk about goals. This is what my talk is all about, although it's going to go and touch in a couple of other areas as well. And very high level, the reason that goals are important is because they set direction. Okay, so we know where we're going. So that's a fundamental piece. Goals set direction. And then I would just want to explain to you, so if you work in an organization, or you've ever worked in an organization, then you may well know that those organizations all have goals, and they filter those goals down to all the employees, and every employee should understand how they play their part in delivering those goals for the organization. And that's a great way of doing it. And if all the employees buy into that, and they accept it, and they understand it, and they feel the same way about those goals, and everyone is pulling in the same direction, then the organization has a really, really good chance of achieving those goals. However, on the other side, if there are employees who don't get it, aren't engaged, don't buy into what the organization is trying to do, and then they see their part of it, they say, I'm not having any part of that, and they just go on, then that's when the organization can become really dysfunctional, and it will experience poor performance. And you can also see some really serious side effects of that kind of thing. Like we hear a lot nowadays about toxic corporate cultures, and that can be very much when everyone is pulling in different directions and everyone is out for their own gain. So maybe you can recognize some of that in your places or in other places or with people you know. So that's the idea of organizations and goals, and really the concept for individuals is pretty much the same. Okay, so within ourselves we have lots of things going on, lots of, if you like, objectives, lots of things we're trying to do in our lives. And within that, we might well have conflicting priorities. So we are actually pulling in different directions within ourselves. The problem is, because we're there on the inside, we don't really know what's going on. And this internal tension is manifesting itself in us being unhappy, stressed, anxious, not getting things done, depressed, all these kinds of negative feelings, because inside of us, on the one hand, we want to go and get fit, but on the other hand, we really, really love chocolate cake. And how do we reconcile those two things? Okay, so when we have all this kind of internal conflict going on, we see these destructive behaviors and we don't achieve what we want to achieve in life. Okay, so there are a couple of things that we can do about this. And the big theme that I want to kind of share with you is this idea of getting everything that is on the inside, bringing it all into the outside where we can see it. That's so crucial, because when we can see things, we can start to understand them, recognize them, analyze them, and then start making smart decisions to deal with them. So whilst this is all going on inside our head mostly, it's really, really difficult to make sense of it all and then to start putting a framework around it. So getting stuff from the inside to the outside. Okay, just going to take a little drink of water whilst you all absorb that. We'll come on to this later. Okay, the first piece I want to talk about getting from the inside to the outside. We're not quite at goals yet, but I want to talk about values, our own core values, what we actually believe in most strongly and what drives us in the way we want to live our life. Now, we all have these values, but it's really rare that we actually take the time to sit down and go through what they actually are and what they actually mean to us. So the fundamentally not understanding what our values are can be the trigger for all these pieces of conflict. If we're not clear on our values, then we start making decisions that are, suboptimal, dysfunctional, because we don't really know. We might have values that are in conflict, but we don't know that because it's all happening on the inside. So we've got to get them out. So understanding what our values are and getting really clear on them is a key part of then starting to set goals and then start making decisions that that will lead to us achieving those goals. Okay, so values are a crucial part of this. As when we get clear on our values and then we start to use them to set those goals, then the goals kind of become a reminder for us of what our values are as well. So the two are inextricably linked and they always work together in harmony. But when they're just inside and jumbled up, then it's chaotic and it creates all the difficulties that we can have when we go through life. Okay, so values are kind of can be an abstract concept, and it's difficult to put them into words. But actually, I have a tool that I want to share with you and give out as part of this talk, which is effectively it's a list of almost 80 values and there's a little exercise that you go through to help you to identify what your core values are. So it's kind of like a one-page sheet, and I'm going to contact Paul after this and work out how I can get that to you, whether there's a repository to put documents in there, it's just a PDF, or there's some other way that I can get this forms you. And it's kind of like step one in this whole process is spending some time to think about your values and get them down on paper. Okay, so at the end of this, I'll put in the comments where and how you can get that sheet of paper. That's kind of the giveaway thing that I've got for you today. Okay. Another deep breath. And we're doing okay for time. I am going to try and keep this to 30 minutes, but my experience of these kind of things, they can run on, so I'm going to try and be disciplined. Okay, so the title of the talk was Goals, Set Them and Forget Them. And this is a really interesting concept that I came up with. It's kind of like I thought of it rhymed, so I thought, oh, this is really nice. I'm going to have to kind of create some narrative around it. So I started thinking about what does that really mean? And I came up with a sporting analogy, which is all about keeping your eye on the ball. And it takes a little bit of thinking about. So if you're, let's say, I'll use the best example for me is that of being a golfer. So when you're a golfer, then you might initially think, oh, the ball is the goal. But obviously, when you think about it more, you say, no, it's not. The goal is the hole on the green, 300 yards away. The ball is the process. So keeping your eye on the ball is very much about understanding what your goal is. So being very clear, I'm trying to get this ball into that hole, but the process is hitting the ball, and that is what you want to concentrate on. So once you've understood where the hole is, you then focus all your energy on hitting the ball and keeping your eye on the ball and your swing and all that kind of stuff. So the simile here is goals, set them and forget them. Set your goal where you want to head towards, and then forget about it because you've got to concentrate on the doing. Okay, so the big way to set those goals and be able to forget about them is to write them down and make sure that you have them documented. You go through the exercise, you spend time. There is an investment in time to do this. And when you do this, you write them down. You can put them in a notepad, put them on yellow stickies. You can frame them on your wall. I actually have mine in an A4 frame on my bedroom wall. I was going to grab it and bring it and show you, but I forgot, so it's still there. But this is one of the exercises you can do. So it's always there, and I always glance at it every day as I'm coming and going. So it's there, but it's not right in front of me because I've got to concentrate on getting done the stuff that I've got to get done. So this is the fundamental thing about goals, is get them written down. And if you've done the work on your values, then your goals are going to be aligned with your values, and the pathway towards them will be smoother than if you haven't spent time thinking about your values. And let me give you an example just off the top of my head. So let's say one of your values is family, but then you set goals to say, I want to get that promotion. And to get that promotion, I'm going to have to work extra hard and work on extra projects and stuff. And I'm not going to be able to see my family. There you have two ideals that are perfectly admirable, and there's nothing wrong with either of them, but you stick them together, and that's going to feel really uncomfortable when all of a sudden you're not seeing your family when it's top of your values. So that's just a very brief, simple example, probably quite common, that people can that can cause you discomfort if you set a goal that is not aligned with your values. So you then have to think again, okay, so what's realistic for me? What's a good goal that I should go for career-wise? So it does take a bit of thought then to follow up on that. Okay. So once you've set your goals, I'm going to kind of move on now, because that idea of goals is kind of simple enough. And the next thing is, okay, what do I need to do next? That's really important. So next step is to create a plan that will help you to deliver those goals. And you really want to set yourself up to succeed. So I try and focus on three categories that you can use to analyze how you can set yourself up. So the first of those categories is your environment, and that is kind of the life that you set up around yourself in order to help you to achieve those goals. So it might be something like, let's say, one of your goals, you want to get to the gym 3 times a week, let's say. So you plan your route to work that goes past the gym, or your route home, whichever way it is. So setting things up in that way. It's like if you're trying to lose weight, let's say, then don't, when you go to the grocery store, don't buy any biscuits or any cakes. Just don't buy them, then you're not tempted by them. Easier said than done, I know, but this is about setting up the environment for you to succeed. I'm not going to go too deep into the details of that, because honestly, Helen's talk yesterday, if there's one you want to watch after this, that's the one to go and watch, because she's got loads of great information in there. Okay. So setting up your environment. So setting up your life, setting up your lifestyle to help you succeed. Okay, yep, that's perfect. So the next area is your skill set. So do you have the skills to succeed in what you want to do? Now this can sometimes trip people up, because they have a goal that they really want to do and it's really important to them, but they don't feel that they're capable, they don't have the capabilities, and that can immediately put a blockage on them trying to do those things. But there's so much that can be done to overcome that. You can learn the skills yourself, you can hire those skills, you can outsource those skills. If you, let's say you feel like you want to start a business, but it's like, oh, I'm no good at accounting, or I'm no good at sales, then hire people to do that. That's what it's all about. If you want your own business, then, and it's actually, but you feel, oh, I don't know so much that I don't know what to do, either learn it, practice it, do it yourself, or hire someone else to do it. Buy in the resources. That is part of that process to succeed. That is what everyone who has succeeded will have done. So you have to overcome that mindset of I don't know how, and go to the I'm going to find out how. Okay, so that's equipping yourself with the skills, and I mentioned the word, and then the final piece is the mindset. So this is the idea of the way you think about yourself and the way you think about the world, that you can actually achieve these things. So a really powerful mindset is the growth mindset of I can learn, I can do these things, my skills are not fixed, the world is not fixed, the world can change, I can change, and I can become the kind of person who will deliver these goals. That's a really interesting and important concept, and it's one that Helen mentioned yesterday. I wanted to reinforce it. If you can think about what is the kind of person that can do this kind of stuff, and then you have to become that person. And that's about change, you know, that is change, that is transformation, but that's what we're talking about as we go to achieve goals, we go to achieve things that we've never achieved before. That inevitably that involves some kind of change, some kind of transformation. So don't fear it, embrace it, because that is what we're here to do. So that fear of change and what's it going to be like? I like the way I am, I don't want to change. Well, do you like the way you are? Are you going to, or is this goal important enough that you can change and transform yourself so that you can be that person? Okay, so those 3 areas, environment, skill set, and mindset, that's how you set your plan in order to succeed. And I just want to share with you one overriding concept on all of this planning and executing that's really important. And this is the idea that actually the thing that stops us from achieving our goals, and this kind of sounds obvious, but I'm going to say it anyway. The thing that stops us from achieving our goals are the obstacles that are in our way, either that someone has put in our way or we've put in our own way. Okay, so just as a high-level concept, there are obstacles. Our goal is over there in the distance. We're very clear on it. That's the direction we want to head in, but there's something stopping us, but we want to get there. So by removing those obstacles, if we take those obstacles away, then naturally we are going to move towards that goal. So we will be pulled towards it by our desire to achieve it. And it's those obstacles that are stopping us. So if we can work and put all our work into removing those obstacles, whether it's the lack of a skill, or it's overcoming a fear, or it's not wanting to change, then if we can remove those things, work on those things, then we will naturally move towards those goals that we've set for ourselves and are very, very clear. So simple thing like if you want to run a marathon or run a half marathon, let's be realistic. You can run a marathon as well, but for me, half marathon is where I am. So if you want to become a runner, like I did about 6 years ago, and one of the obstacles I might have said, oh, I haven't got any running shoes, so what's the point? Simple example, but hey, step one on your plan to become a runner is go and buy some running shoes. And just taking that step, wow, you're on your way and you're committed. And then there's one excuse that is out of the window. So that's the idea of removing obstacles. Okay. Going to move to the final section now. This is a word that's very dear to me in everything that I do, and when I talk to my clients, when I'm coaching them about how they get to the things they want to achieve, and that word is energy. And managing your own personal energy is so important. The energy is the stuff that drives us to do all of this, and in fact everything that we do. So being in control and managing and making sure we have enough energy in the right way is crucial to achieving and succeeding. So our energy is a finite resource, so we have to manage it well. And one of the key areas that I'm just going to go through briefly now and give my perspective, and I know that there are lots of other videos in here which talk about other kinds of things, is the management of your energy is all about self-care and looking after yourself. Lots of mentions in some of the other videos about you've got to be selfish, you've got to look after yourself first, and then you can look after everyone else. I'm 100% behind all of that, and that's what's driving all this. But I don't want to explain all that again because there's other people who can explain it better than I can. But I just want to tell you about my perspective on self-care, which may or may not resonate with you. But there's lots of ways of capturing it and engaging with it and realizing how crucial it is. So I put the self-care elements into 3 categories. The first category is the no excuses category. And the 2 things that I'm going to talk about that are no excuses are sleep and water. Okay, no excuses to not get enough sleep, and no excuses not to drink enough water. Putting it very, very simply in a kind of simple way, and maybe a little bit facile, but in order to get enough sleep, go to bed. Simple as that. Plan it out. What do you need? Go to bed. I know there's so many distractions, so many things. Oh, I want to relax. I want to put my feet and watch the telly and have a glass of wine. Look, that's fine, but you're making a choice. Sleep. There's other people will tell you how important it is. This is all about looking after your brain because it all happens up here. So sleep, crucial. And Helen yesterday talked about all these different phases of sleep and why that's all important. And she'll give you lots of tips about how to get better sleep. But for me, I'm keep things nice and simple. Go to bed. There we go. And then water. I told you to come back to this. Just carry one of these with you, refill it, just drink all the time. It's so easy, and I still do it. You can go through hours and hours, and if you've not got this by your side, you won't drink anything. And then you start flagging and you feel a bit tired and things are a bit dull. and you can't concentrate, and you think, oh gosh, I need a shot of caffeine to get me through the rest of the day. And honestly, it's a load of, I don't know whether I can swear on this, so I won't. But water, if you keep yourself hydrated, then everything will be better. I mean, aside from anything else, your skin, your hair, your nails, everything is going to be improved. The effect that it's had for me since I've been drinking water regularly and really made it a focus is incredible. I used to spend fortunes on E45 and eczema creams and all this kind of thing, and it's all gone. It's all gone. Very, very occasionally gone, but the water is doing it all for me. So I'm a big fan of this. Just fresh water, cold water from the tap. It's not great here in Dublin, but I just drink it, and it's transformational. First thing in the mornings, first thing you do when you wake up, just have a glass by your bed or a bottle and just take a glug. Try and drink 250, 300, 400 mils, and then get ready to start your day. But you'll instantly feel better. And hopefully a side effect of this is you might not need that slug of coffee to get you going in the morning, maybe. Okay, how are we doing for time? So that's the no excuses side of things. The second category is the tough choices, I describe it as. And these tough choices, again, mentioned by lots of other experts, is diet and exercise. And I'm not going to go into all the details. I'm not a nutritionist. I have my own perspective, and I really liked what Helen had to say yesterday about the nutrition side of things. I learned a little bit from her, which is great, but it backs up a lot of what I try and do. And it's tough choice as well, because I'm not perfect. I can still stand to lose a few pounds, that's for sure. But just being aware of what you're putting inside your body and the effect it's going to have just makes you, it removes a barrier to you moving forward with your objectives. If you gain that knowledge about nutrition and what you're putting inside your body, then that is removing one barrier to say, well, I don't know that this is no good for me, so I'm just going to eat it because it tastes good and it's dead easy. So removing the barriers to moving forward towards your goals by understanding your diet. And it's the same with exercise, and I'm not going to go into the exercise thing as well, but our bodies were made to move, so you've got to keep moving them. In so many of our jobs, we're sat down for hours and hours on end. You know, every hour, get up and go for a walk. Here's one, if you're drinking loads of water, then you're going to need to go to the loo loads of time, maybe every hour a day. Brilliant. It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing, because first of all, it breaks the monotony of the day. You get up, you go and have to go for a walk, and you can just switch off for a little bit as well. So side effect of drinking loads of water, you might have more exercise, more reason to go. So I'm not going to dictate what kind of exercise you do. You find your own way, but just be aware of how important it is for you and your physical well-being and your mental well-being. We only have one body as our vehicle through life, so please look after it. And it's never too late to wake up and realize that. I can vouch for that. Okay, the third and final part about managing your energy and being the best you can be is what I call the next level idea, where you are raising yourself above the rest of the population who don't know about this stuff and are not performing at their best because they don't have this skill. And the skill in a single word is mindfulness. It's about being mindful. It's about paying attention, maybe meditation practice, gratitude, all these kinds of things that you know about and other people will talk about. This is how you look after your brain in the best possible way, because I'll say it again, everything that happens in your life passes through your brain. And if your brain is not at optimal level because it's tired, because it's always thinking, then you're not going to make the best decisions. You're not going to have the best experience of life. So mindfulness, meditation, gratitude, changing the way that you see the world, and allowing yourself to take a break from the constant thinking that we all do all day, every day. Taking that break from it is so empowering for you, because as you do it more and more and you practice, It's like going to the gym for your brain, and you become better at being able to stop those thoughts, interrupting those thoughts. There may be the thoughts of anxiety, of worrying about the work you've got to do, or what you're going to make the kids for dinner, or how are you going to finish that project, or whatever it is. Those cycles of thought that you go through, sometimes keeping you awake at night. If you have practiced mindfulness, meditation exercises, then you'll become better at being able to spot yourself having those thoughts and stopping them and moving on to something else. And then the thoughts come back, and then you stop them again. But what you don't get caught in is this long cycle of worry that manifests itself in anxiety, panic attacks, in worst cases, depression, all this kind of thing. Getting control, exercising your mind so you do that, so powerful. It's kind of like the number one thing that I recommend to my clients, and it is this next level skill that you can adopt that is going to really help you in every area of your life, but especially to achieve those goals that you want to achieve. When you feel discouraged, oh, I'm not going to get there, this is not working, you can stop that thought, you can rationalize it, and you can take your thought in a different direction because you have the capability, because you've trained to do it. That's what mindfulness is about. Okay, we've just gone over half an hour. Does anyone, if there is anyone online having any questions or comments about any of that? If you do have any, if you're not watching live, but if you do have any questions or any thoughts about it, I don't know how to see anything on this screen. This is the first time I've done one like this. So when you're watching this, write any comments, any questions, give me the thumbs up to let me know. I've had a couple already, so that's nice. Thank you. I don't know who's done them, but thank you for doing those. Just a quick recap on what I covered. I just need to bring something back that has disappeared from me. There we go. So, talked about getting stuff from the inside to the outside, making it visible so we can deal with it. Talked about organizational goals and then our personal goals, getting all those aligned, and you must be able to see your values in order to make sure that your goals are aligned with your values. We then talked about setting up a plan that can help you to succeed and making sure that you address your environment, your skills, your mindset in order to set yourself up to achieve those. Identify and remove the obstacles to allow yourself to move forward towards your goals. And then finally, talk about energy, managing that energy with self-care, and the self-care element, the no excuses, sleep and water, the tough choices, diet and exercise, and the next level up, really what the kids say when they're playing the computer games, level up. That's the mindfulness stuff. So that really empowers you to do even more. Okay, so that's all. I just want to finish up with just a couple of admin points, or a couple of things I wanted to share with you. I'm going to put them in the comments. The first of all is I do most of my social media on LinkedIn. I do little bits on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and my handle there is Best Mate Coaching, which is the name of my practice, but I'd spend much more of my time on LinkedIn. So I'd be delighted if you wanted to connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm going to put the link to my profile in the comments, and if you just click on the connect, or it might say follow, but if you can, there's a menu item there, little 3 dots. You can press that and you can go connect. And then when you send the invitation, just mention you're from the Career Mum, you saw me here, and then I'll know where you've come from. I'll be delighted to connect with you, and you can see some of my stuff that I do on there. I'll also put in the link to my website, which is where people come in there to find out about my coaching services. And so you can have a look at that. There's a little bit more about me on there. And the final thing is just because it's this time of year, and if you've seen me on LinkedIn, then I have this goal setting coaching package, which is just 2 coaching sessions. And if that's something that, if you want some help with creating those goals, and at the end of that you'll get your goals nicely printed out in a nice certificate that you can put on your bedroom wall if you want, and frame it, then I'm going to put the link to that thing in there. You can take a look at that if you want, if that's of interest. If you do mention to me, well, if you want to go with that and you want to buy that package, then, and you mention that you've found this on the Career Mum, then I will give you 40% cash back when we get it sorted. I can't apply the discount in the system. I don't know how to do that, but I will give you 40% back as a Career Mum member. So if you wanted to do that, that's all I want to say. I'm not here to sell myself. I want to give value, but I just, in case people want help, it's neglectful of me if I don't offer the help that I can provide. So I'm glad you're still here at the end. If you're still watching, I really appreciate that. And if you did like this, one more click on the thumbs up to get another like, so that people will find this. And my final reminder, what I said right at the beginning, go back into the Career Mum group and look at all those units, and you'll find all the videos that people like me have done before me. I think it all started this year, and there is amazing content in there that you will get so much out of. And if you immerse yourself in this stuff, then it will start to stick with you. It will start to sink in, and it will start you on that journey to transform yourself into the kind of person that can achieve those goals. Okay, I am finished now. So if you want to go and look at those other videos, then you can do so. And I will put those information in the comments. I'm going to do that right now whilst I'm talking, if I can manage that. That worked? Yeah, that one works. You don't, if you're still watching, well done. And one more. I'm doing it now because I don't know whether I can put it in afterwards. I probably can, actually. Awesome. I'm done. Have a great evening. Wishing you peace and joy over the festive season. And I've managed to come in 38 minutes.